13th IconSWM-CE and IPLA Global Forum 2023 is organized by KJSIM Institute of Management, Vidyavihar, Mumbai, India, the International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water, Kolkata, India, and International Partnership for Expanding Waste Management Services of Local Authorities, IPLA, under the aegis of International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water.
The International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water, ISWMEW, was established in 2009 in India by Professor Shadan Kumar Ghosh for betterment of waste management and environment protection, for promoting effective waste management, 3R, and circular economy. ISWMEW collaborates with more than 50 countries and most of the states in India for implementing its objectives. Problem of waste management primarily lies in source segregation of waste and poor governance towards collection and transportation, processing and disposal. IconSWM, ISWMEW involves in spreading awareness, carrying out research and implementation activities in the areas related to waste management worldwide to promote environmentally sound practices for waste management, effluent treatment, air and water pollution control practices, and general environment protection awareness in different parts of the country and abroad. ISWMEW promotes business models in waste management and resource recovery, namely co-processing of waste in cement manufacturing, recycling of plastics, and other types of solid and liquid wastes. It also works for reducing plastic debris in marine environment and sustainable consumption. Activities of ISWMEW involves, in line with Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, ISWMEW collaborates with different countries worldwide, creating mass awareness focusing on youth and school children, conducting the flagship program IconSWM-CE every year, the conference that we are attending today. Research products on waste management and circular economy, namely Going Global project, funded by British Council on adoption of circular economy in SMEs and in academia. ISWMEW funded waste management and circular economy projects in colleges and schools in West Bengal and Meghalaya, encouraging cement plants in co-processing by recognizing their performance through IconSWM-CE Excellence Awards since the year 2018. In the last 14 years, IconSWM-CE has been playing a significant role in the area of waste management and circular economy across the globe.
The KJSIM Institute of Management, earlier KJSIM Institute of Management Studies and Research, a premier B school under the aegis of Somaiya Vidyavihar, was inaugurated at the hands of Dr. Manmohan Singh, the Honorable ex-Prime Minister of India, in the year 1981. The institute, with its rich history of over 4 decades, has established itself as one of the top 25 business schools and top 10 private B schools in India. The institute, now a constituent of the Somaiya Vidyavihar University, draws its inspiration from the founder, Padma Bhushan, late Shri Karamsibai Somaiya ji, and is committed to social responsibility. The institute benefits immensely from the able guidance of the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Samir Somaiya ji, and of the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor V.N. Rajashekaran Pillai sir. And of course, the dynamic leadership of our Director, Professor Dr. Raman Ramachandran. In May 2022, the institute was awarded the coveted Association to Advanced Collegiate School of Business. And in 2023, the institute made a significant leap in its NIRF ranking by securing 45th position in the National Institute Ranking Framework's India's ranking for management institutes. The objectives of this conference are to spread awareness of waste management, circular economy and decarbonization, to help in achieving SDG 2030, to bring people across the world together to act for the cause of environmental protection and management, creating the symbiosis and pentagonal cooperation among the academic and research organizations, industries, governments, NGOs, and multilateral organizations and the citizens, publication of journals, magazines, and newsletters.
In this conference, 379 presentations from 44 countries will be made in 54 sessions over the 3 days, which include special sessions by UNCRD, SINTEF Norway, African countries, European nations, Philippines, USA and neighboring countries, Russian Federation, Waste Management in Meghalaya, IGS Japan, Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management Japan, Jindal Urban Waste Management Limited, Divi's Laboratories Limited, Cement Plants and Going Global Research Project supported by British Council, UK and other special and technical sessions. Participating countries are Argentina, Australia, Barbados, Belarus, Bulgaria, Cambodia, Denmark, Egypt, Ethiopia, France, Ghana, Georgia, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Myanmar, Malaysia, Malta, Maldives, Micronesia, Morocco, Nepal, Nigeria, Norway, Philippines, Russian Federation, Singapore, Samoa PREP, Serbia, Spain, South Africa, Tunisia, Taiwan, Thailand, Togo, United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Vietnam. Our collaborators are Divi's Laboratories. Thank you. Our collaborators are Divi's Laboratories Limited, SINTEF Norway, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board, British Council, Aston University UK, CRIC, UNCRD, Godavari Biorefineries, the Economic Times, Chemtech, and SME Chambers of India. We would now like to welcome our distinguished guest. I request Dr. Raman Ramachandran to welcome first our chief guest today, Mr. Bart De Jong, with the traditional shawl.
This shawl is specially hand-woven by artisans from Kutch and supported by the Somaiya Group.
Dr. Ramachandran is now requested to welcome Professor Shadan Kumar Ghosh, President and Founder, ISWMAW Kolkata, who will be presiding over the inaugural session. Next, Dr. Ramachandran will be welcoming Professor Gerd Moschek from Rostock University, Germany.
I was about to say, please bring me a stool so I can...
Now we will welcome Professor Michizu Asari of Kyoto University, Japan. Mr. C.R.C. Mohanty of UNCRD, Japan, will be welcomed by Dr. Raman Ramachandran. Dr. Prasad Modak of the Environment Management Center will be now welcomed by Dr. Ramachandran. I now request Dr. Ramachandran to welcome Professor Raghunath Shevgaonkar, who is the Provost, Somaiya Vidyavihar University, Mumbai, India. Dr. Raman Ramachandran, Director, KJSIM Institute, will now be felicitated by Professor Shadan Ghosh. Thank you, Dr. Ramachandran and Professor Ghosh.
Dr. Ramachandran has over 3 decades of corporate experience, of which more than half was for the BASF India Limited and PI Industries running business in Asia Pacific. Dr. Raman is passionate about management education, particularly in the context of helping practicing managers to be successful by combining his years of corporate experience with academic experts at KJSIM Institute of Management. Dr. Raman was Robert S. McNamara Fellow of the Economic Development Institute of World Bank in the year 1990. He was awarded FICCI's Chemical and Petrochemical Sector's Lifetime Achievement Award for contribution to agrochemical industry in November 2021. We now request Dr. Raman Ramachandran to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you. Thank you, Milind. Honorable Consul General of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Bart de Jong, Dr. Sadan Kumar Ghosh, President of IconSWM-CE, Professor Shevgaonkar, Provost of the Somaiya Vidyavihar University, and the distinguished members on the dais, the delegates, the really international delegation that is attending this conference from what I heard to be more than 30 or 40 countries across the world, those who are here from all over India, my fellow faculty members and students. I have great pleasure and privilege in welcoming you. We are happy to be the host of this 13th International Conference on Waste Management and Circular Economy. And actually we are quite privileged that all of you are here in this beautiful campus. My colleague, Mr. Milind, made my job much easier because one of the agenda I had was to introduce the institute and the university, so he already introduced the institute, but let me put it in the context of, there's an echo coming from somewhere there. So we are a constituent institute of the Somaiya Vidyavihar, which is one of the first private universities created in the state of Maharashtra under the statute of the state government. We have been in existence as a university for the last about 3 years now, slightly over 3 years. And as you also heard, can you fix that? There is an echo coming from somewhere. Am I audible? Yes. Yeah, okay. So he also briefly mentioned about our founder, Padma Bhushan Karamshi, who was a great entrepreneur, created enormous wealth in the sugar industry, but had the vision and the foresight to invest all of that into creating educational institutions because he believed strongly that knowledge alone liberates. And we are talking about the time soon after independence, so there was a great, so we are actually privileged to be enjoying that legacy. The 60 acres of green campus that we have is thanks to the vision that our founder had. In fact, on the 1st of December, we will be celebrating the Founders Day, which is the 82nd year of Founders Day, and it is 82nd because his first contribution to education started 82 years ago when he started a small school in rural Maharashtra for the benefit of rural children who those days had no access to schooling. Today, under the Somaiya Trust, there are 32 institutions across India catering to very high-tech, studies like engineering, to, civilizational studies, to Dharma studies, where they study Jainism, Buddhism, to an institute in the Kutch area which actually studies the local crafts and art and preserves it and tries to make entrepreneurs out of it. So that's the legacy that we are living here, and I hope that you will take a moment as you are here on the campus to look around and enjoy this. Now this conference itself, in the context of where India is today and where it is heading to, which is from a $3 trillion economy to perhaps about $10 to $15 trillion economy in the next about 5 to 10 years, has become even more significant. Add to that our population of about 1.4 billion. This whole topic of waste management is very, very crucial, and we all recognize that there are 4 very, very important pillars that will contribute to providing solutions to this. This is obviously the science, technology, innovation, and as a business school head, I have to point out that enterprise is key to solving such problems, and the human history has shown that whenever humanity has been in the crossroads, it's innovation and enterprise that has combined and provided solution to many of these problems, and I'm sure that's going to be a huge topic of discussion over the next 2-3 days. And last but most importantly, the policies of the government, policies of the state levels, etc., which also contribute to it. But to me, one of the more fundamental aspect of this is also human behavior, responsible behavior. Citizens with civic sense will compound or will accelerate and synergize all these other advances that we have. And I want to share a quick small anecdote. 41 years ago, when I went to study in University of Adelaide for my PhD, I was working as a research associate with a professor from the forestry department, and it expected me to go into forests and take samples of logs, which I have to bring it back. And of course, in the Australian forest, you never go alone because there are potential hazards of fire. So I always had my professor's technical assistant accompany me. So it was generally a 6-7 hours of, so we took our lunch. And on one of these occasions, as we were driving back inside the forest, I finished my drink, which was in a cardboard box, the Tetra Pak kind of cardboard. Now I'm talking 1982, 83. Many of you are probably not born at that time. And I pulled down the window and threw it outside, assuming that, this is in the middle of a forest. I'm putting a cardboard, it will get. But this young lady immediately stopped the car, asked me to get out and pick it up, and said, we don't do this in this country. It might be a forest, but we need to preserve it. We don't want foreign things in there. That memory vividly followed me for the rest of my life, and that has become the foundation of how I behave in these situations. And it has also given me increased conviction that if we don't address the central issue of how do we bring up citizens to be responsible civic behavior, I think all the other developments in the area of waste management in terms of technology, science will only contribute to so much. And this is even more important in a country like ours, where any small problem multiplied by 1.4 billion becomes a huge problem. And any huge problem divided by 1.4 billion by responsible civic behavior of each and every one of us can be diluted into a problem that can be managed and also solved. So with that, I'm really, again, happy that all of you are here. I wish you all very good deliberations. Some of these behavioral things that we talked about, you will also see in action in the way that we have organized this conference. For instance, nobody will get a bottle of water. You will all get, those who are delegates will get a steel bottle, and there are enough places in the campus where you can get good clean drinking water. Similarly, none of the meals will be served in plastic trays or with plastic spoons. They will all be served in utensils that can be washed and reused. So we're making a small contribution by establishing this behavioral pattern. So with that, wish you all great deliberations, and I look forward to participating in this as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Ramachandran. Professor Shadin Kumar Ghosh ex-head, Department of Mechanical Engineering, and ex-dean, Faculty of Engineering, Jadavpur University, is internationally known for his research on waste management and green manufacturing. Having more than 250 publications and principal investigator of 35 national and international funded research projects, his significant contribution is the collaborative research with experts from more than 40 countries on circular economy and 3R promotion. He is involved in policy making committee, standard development and circular economy in small and medium sized enterprises. He has taken a mission of involving 50,000 students in schools and colleges in waste management in Meghalaya, in turn making 10 lakh people aware of waste management by December 2025. We now request Professor Shadan Kumar Ghosh to speak about the theme, objectives and legacy of this event. Professor Ghosh.
Thank you. Very good morning, Professor Dr. Raman Ramchandra, Professor Gert Marshek, Professor Raghunath K. Shevgaonkar, Mr. C.R.C. Mohanty, Professor Misuju Asari, Dr. Osako Masahiro, and Mr. Bart De Jong, Mr. Modak, and Mr. Atul Bhatt, Dr. Kare Hegle Karstensen, my friends and students from different countries. It's my pleasure to be here with you in this 13th International Conference on Sustainable Waste Management and Circular Economy and IPLA Global Forum 2023 in KJSIM Institute of Management, Mumbai. The International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water I established in 2009 with some of my friends in Kolkata. And this type of conference, the first conference was held in Kolkata in two indoor stadiums, Netaji Indoor Stadium and Khudiram Anushilon Kendra, I can remember. And many of the friends who were there in that particular program in 2009, I can see, even from different countries. And this is 13th conference. I'm very happy to say that all the conferences were very much successful. Many people participated, and in the first conference there was 7 countries who participated, and last conference 51 countries participated in Tirupati. And this year 44 countries participated in hybrid mode and online mode. I must thank all my friends from different countries. We are working with country-specific working group members in 45 countries. So these people, I'm very proud that I could involve these people in 45 countries to think, to work, and to implement on the effective waste management and circular economy. In fact, before I go to little explanation, I'll just say that what we are carrying forward from the society. We are involved in creating awareness amongst all the stakeholders who are involved in waste management and circular economy. We are engaging research projects, like we have now 5 research projects throughout the country and number of research projects in different countries. Even we have project in Georgia, the Eastern Europe, where the development is still yet to take in many areas. And the areas are waste management, circular economy, We are encouraging publishing papers, and you know that from 2023, January, the International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water has taken up the publication of the Journal of Solid Waste Technology and Management, which is Scopus indexed. And many of my friends are here whose papers were published in 2023. I can see it from Bangladesh, from India, and some other countries. We are collaborating various institutions, NGOs, cross-country research and projects in 35 countries. We are initiating special project in Meghalaya. Already my friend in the introduction told that I have taken a mission in 2001 that you know that our hilly stations are very much neglected with respect to the waste management, awareness generation. There are a number of landslides and other accidents because of the plastic and other waste. So I have taken a mission of involving, it's not only training, involving 50,000 students in school and colleges in the waste management facility. What we have done as of today, 2 colleges, one is Synod College and other is Presbyterian College in Shillong, and 4 schools in around Shillong and in Meghalaya. We have provided them the waste management facility, like the bins and all other facilities. We have trained them how to use it, and we have established the system in the school and colleges, and each of the students are using that facility in the school and colleges. And we have the examples present here, like my friends from Shillong, Synod College, who are working as the coordinator of this project. 3 of their, including the principal, has come, and also the Pollution Control Board executive engineer. They are coordinating for our project, and as of today, we have already involved 8,500 students in school and colleges and the teachers. Our vision is, we are encouraging the students to propagate this to their parents, to their sisters and brothers, and also brethren. One student must involve and make aware 20 people. And as a matter of fact, by 2025 December, we will have a target of fulfilling 1 million people in Meghalaya to be trained and aware of effective waste management. I'll request you, we are very open for expanding this to other states also. If anybody is interested, please look forward and come to us. We will collaborate for that. We are fostering research initiative and providing research and implementation fund also. We have some fund, and from this international conference, whatever fund we are generating, we are keeping some fund for the research project to be funded to different institutes. Of course, this fund is very small. The main project now is catch them young in school and colleges. Because what I prefer, I was also discussing with my friend from UNCRD, that we should involve more school and college students on this type of program, so that they will take forward all these initiatives. We are working for the best practices, technology to ensure that the sustainable waste management happens. IconSWM is connected with the people, organization, institutions. And you know that we are now focusing on pentangular cooperation for effective waste management and circular economy. Why pentangular? The research and academic institutes, the industries, we have number of industry friends who have come here for supporting us, then the NGOs, the multilateral organizations throughout the world, and the general citizen. So unless and otherwise there is a combination of this and cooperation of this, collaboration of these 5 players, it is not possible to have the waste management effective. And more importantly, ISW is promoting and supporting to have the business model for the waste management, involving more entrepreneurs in the waste management so that they earn money from the business of waste management. Some of the sessions are here tomorrow and day after tomorrow, like pharmaceutical industries and others, who will be training people that how business can be developed, utilization of the waste management. You know, our movement for Catch Them Young, I already mentioned. We want to, you know, that I must mention one more thing, that the present government in the central government of India from 2014, they have done tremendously well and supporting people like us in the waste management. We know Swachh Bharat Mission, we know Swachh Sarvekshan, we know there are many schemes which they bring forward, and these are all really giving us the push and encourage us, and I am quite sure that in next 5 years' time, the way we are going forward, India will take place in the world map as an effective waste management circular economy player, and we must support that. The last part, because you know that each of the conference, we take up some of the project. Like in last Tirupati, we have taken up the project to implement the project of calculating carbon footprints within the compass. And also some of the SMEs, they are doing it, they will present this time. Similarly for KJSIM, I'll request and I'm open to discuss for some of the projects which they can take up for next 1 year for the environmental protection, which can be showcased in the next conference. And one more thing, this is a positive side. What is the negative side? They have given me a guest room on the back side, like that Sandipan guest house. I am staying in 930 room. It is just on the other side is the station. What is the station? Vidyavihar station? Yeah. So when I was just looking into the scenic beauty, I saw number of trains are going. Then beside that, there is a car shed and the goods, go down. And beside that, what is it, do you know? Throughout the world, we are working for preventing littering of plastics in the water body. And thousands of crores of rupees are spent by each of the countries for protecting our water bodies, ocean. And there are a number of sessions in our program. But I was very unhappy seeing the scenario that the wall of the station, boundary wall, and there is a road, but in between there is a canal I have seen. And I should not tell it as a canal, but this is a very, very small sized island of plastics. So I request all of you, and I request also the government representative, this issue will take up in the Maharashtra with the government and other bodies for resolving this issue so that the water in that canal looks blue and we would be happy, and we will put some chairs and others so that people can go there for everyday morning walk and the evening walk. So with this, I must thank all of you and the KJSIM management, mainly Professor Raman, my friend, the director of this institute, my friend Dr. Satyendra Upadhyay, Lakshmi Kant Hari, and Sudarshan and their team. They have done an excellent job throughout the year. And the participation of the people, I mean, you know that there are 375 presentations in this conference which will be taking place. There are a number of industries who have come here this year, and I must not forget one thing, that we are promoting cement plants for utilizing the waste in the co-processing. And we have instituted one Icon Excellence Award for co-processing in 2018. And today that has become a very popular among the cement plants, and we have this time also included the companies who are making RDF. So there are a number of Icon Excellence Award. We will be seeing that soon. So with this, I should not take much time, but I have taken a little more time because you should know, and we want you to be involved in our movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Sadhan Ghosh. Dr. Gerd Morschek, who is currently a professor in the Department of Waste Management, University of Rostock, Germany. He is serving as an editorial member and reviewer of several international reputed journals. Dr. Morschek is a member of many international affiliations. He has authored many articles and books on waste management, and he is a country-specific working group member of ISWMSW in Germany. We request Professor Gerd Morschek to address the gathering. Sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, colleagues. I found my name on the program, ask for a speech, but let me say some words. I wrote something down. I thought I will be the only German here, but maybe you are also from Germany. Welcome. Smell and feel the city, the country. I thought about how did it start in 2015. We have seen each other in Bangalore, was our first icon, and I think it was such a good idea to see a lot of cities in India to rotate in the state of India, so that we learned a lot about India. We have seen a lot of states, cities, and now I'm proud you also see the waste. I'm not the only one who can see the waste everywhere. I moved here with the metro and walked half an hour. It's faster when to take a taxi, and so I have seen, I think, 1 million Indians in the morning. The ICON helped us to get a lot of other projects here in India, to meet colleagues from all over the world, and so now we have a lot of projects worldwide. That's why I'm the only one. My colleagues are in Western Africa, one is in Oman, one is in Tunisia, and we are writing a master plan for Saudi Arabia at the moment, a waste management master plan, and we will see, we wrote a lot of master plans, and then, okay, we have waste paper then at the end. All the best to the guys in the back. I by myself also organize a small conference in Germany. It's just a small, and I know how much work there is to do, not only by the colleagues, also by a lot of staff you never see. They worked, I think, over weeks to make it happen that we now have a conference here. So thank you to the colleagues. Yesterday evening we did it. She's in the background, and there are a lot of other people here. Thank you very much to make it that we have now a conference here. I'm sure that also the ICON here in Mumbai, and this is not the first time that I'm in Mumbai, will have a positive impact, I hope so, to India and to Indian waste management. And sorry, Professor Ghosh, cement industry will not solve all the waste problems. This is not possible. We have to do more worldwide, and we're also not satisfied in Europe with our waste management. If you solve one problem, there will be the next 10 problems. And let me say, a nation that is able to fly to the moon will also go forward in waste management, I'm sure. And I wish the conference all the best, good success, and try to learn something. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gerd. Dr. Raghunath Shevgaonkar, Provost at the Somaiya Vidyavihar University, is a scientist and academician who has provided dynamic leadership in engineering education in India in reputed institutes like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, University of Pune, and Bennett University, for over 4 decades. He is a recipient of several awards, including the prestigious IEEE UG Teaching Award, the first non-American professor to receive the honor. We request Professor Shivgaonkar to address the gathering.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, distinguished dignitaries of the dais, all the distinguished guests, participants to the conference. On behalf of Somaiya Vidyavihar, let me extend a very warm welcome to you to this green campus in the heart of city Mumbai. Luckily, the weather is good in Mumbai. It was very hot couple of days back, but now it seems to be much better. Pollution also is reduced, so I think you can really enjoy your stay in this city. It's a very vibrant city in our country. It is called the capital, economic capital of India, and you can see that vibrancy, in this city when you travel in the city. I would like to congratulate the KJSIM for organizing this conference on this campus and getting so many distinguished guests who work in this area of the sustainable waste management. I per se don't work in the sustainable waste management, but that cannot be an excuse, because sustainable waste management cannot be only for limited people who work in this area. That is something which is of concern to each and every one of us who live on this planet, because that is something which is going to decide our future. Let me start with a quote from IEEE. Being a fellow of IEEE, I want to always state this quote. The motto of IEEE is advancing technology for humanity. It's a very profound quote which is there. And I always add a word to that quote, advancing technology for sustainable humanity. Why we have to add this word sustainability? Because if you really look at the evolution or the civilization for the last 5,000 years, you will see that practically till about 19th century, nothing drastically happened in the society. The way things used to happen in 2000, when the millennium started, the same thing kept happening. Just take an example. If you look at the war which was fought by Ashoka and the war which was fought by Shivaji, they were not very different wars, similar wars. The lifestyle was not very different. Things started changing when the industrial revolution took place. And then the expectation and the quality of life started changing. And when the 20th century came, then the technology started dominating the life. So last century, if you really look at, many of the things which nobody imagined, nobody thought, started happening because of tremendous advancements in the technology. And this development was catastrophic. This development was also organic. What do I mean by that? That nobody really planned for it. It just happened. The things kept happening, people kept on adapting to that, and more technology kept coming, and nobody decided. And finally, when we entered the 20th century, we were standing at a position to ask a question. Have we really moved in the right direction? We traveled significantly in the last 100 years. Was the direction really right? Was the sustainability question ever asked? When I was a child, I remember this sustainability question was never talked about. Why it was not talked about? Because if I look at my consumption at that point of time, or our family consumption, there was hardly any waste created. Only waste which was created was only biological waste which used to come from the food products. We used to get the fresh vegetables, we used to get the fresh grains, we used to just make use of them, whatever is left over, which was completely biodegradable, that used to get deposited in the farms or something, and organically things used to work. There was no packaging for the material most of the time. There was no material which were used, right, which were not recyclable. They all were biodegradable, they were consumed by biology. What has happened over the last 50, 60 years is this trend is changed. This trend is changed because we started deviating ourselves from nature. The nature was always very sustainable. In fact, if you really look at the nature, it is amazing. The nature is sustainable, it is recyclable, it is completely energy efficient. The nature doesn't do anything, it takes any extra energy for doing anything. It takes minimal energy possible for doing things. Everything what you find in nature is completely recyclable. What we started producing is not recyclable. And it is not a blame, but many of the things which happened because of the petroleum industry. If you really look at all the product which you are seeing today, their origin is the petroleum industry. And we started over consuming this. Even petroleum industry, we are at the end of almost petroleum industry, because whatever was the accumulation of this fossil fuel, over millions of years under the earth, we consumed that entire thing in 100 years. And the predictions are by the end of this century, right? But in 21st century, the predictions are the fossil fuel is going to be down by 80%. The population will increase by 50%. We are about 7 billion. We are going to go to about 10 billion. The energy consumption requirement will go up by 300%. And the water crunch population will rise by 300%. Why this has happened? This has happened because everybody started using the share higher than what they were deserving. So again, I want to quote here from Mahatma Gandhi. He always said, nature has enough for everybody's need, but not for anybody's greed. And today, when we talk about the waste management sustainability, we all know the things, the prevention, reuse, recycle, recover, disposal. I think the first part, which is the prevention, is the responsibility of each and every one. If you really keep using the resources the way we are using, we require resources of 4 earth to make everybody sustainable of the quality which we are looking for. We don't have 4 earths, we have only 1 earth. And on this earth, we have to make our life sustainable, enjoyable, and that's what our responsibility is. So though I don't work in this area per se, I think as a responsible citizen, I would like to make a call to each and everyone, right, who is making use of the resources, natural resources which are available, to make them as efficiently as possible, try to live as close to the nature as possible, make the life as sustainable, energy efficient, recyclable as possible. And if that happens, then and then only we will not deprive the next generation of something which we are having the privilege of. Our responsibility is to do something so that our next generation is not deprived of something. And that's the responsibility which we are having. So you will have many deliberations in this, and many more solutions will come. If the technologies, again, everybody has to fall back on technology to find a solution. So engineers are going to play a very important role in many of these things. But the solutions will emerge. Take a simple example. When we shifted from the energy to the solar energy, we thought we are now sustainable. Have we thought about the solar panel which are going to get created? What kind of waste is created by the solar panels? When we created electronics, what kind of waste is going to be created by electronics? We don't know how to manage it. Right? There are so many elements which are there in electronics which are poisonous. If they are dumped in the ground, they are going to create poison. We require a holistic view of that. And when that is done, then we'll have a sustainable development for our civilization. So wish you very best for this conference, and you will have a great time in this campus of Somaiya Vidyavihar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Shevgaonkar, for your wonderful talk. Next, we have a speech by Mr. CRC Mohanty, the Environment Program Coordinator of UNCRD Japan. He is also the co-chair of IconSWM-CE, and he now, for several years, he has been coordinating a wonderful conference, a 3-hour conference across the world. So he has been organizing that very effectively, and he is very much working for the attainment of the 17 SDG goals by all. I now request Mr. Mohanty to kindly come over to the dais to deliver his speech. Mr. Mohanty, please.
Thank you for your very kind words. Honorable Consulate General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Mr. Bart de Jong, Provost of the Institute, Professor Raghunathan K. Shevgaonkar, the Director of the Institute, Professor Raman Ramachandran, and Professor Ghosh, the President of the Society. Distinguished delegates, experts, and participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, on behalf of UNCRD, UNDESA, UN Department for Economic and Social Affairs, I would like to express our deep appreciation to all the co-organizers, the society, the KJSIM Institute of Management, and also the IPLA. IPLA is a SDG partnership for co-organizing this meaningful conference. UNCRD attaches great importance to this process, to this conference. Last 12 conference has not only been able to generate nationwide momentum on the importance of circular economy in the context of achieving the Swachh Bharat mission also, but also provided meaningful scientific input to an intergovernmental process, which is the regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Asia Pacific that UNCRD, UNDESA convenes every year. The last one was hosted by Government of Cambodia in Siem Reap. I think many of you had joined that forum. As our UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres says, we face a triple planetary crisis: the climate change, growing pollution, and nature and biodiversity loss. The climate is heating up too quickly for people and the nature to adapt it, and our lifestyle is associated with 2/3 of all greenhouse gas emission, and studies show that sustainable lifestyles and behaviors, if you can manage our lifestyles, it could reduce almost 40 to 70% of the greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Pollutions continue to poison our air, land, water, and ocean. In 2018, the Government of India had hosted the 8th Regional 3R Forum in Asia Pacific in Indore city, and 40 mayors had signed the declaration in support of the Swachh Bharat mission and how actually they can achieve the clean land, clean water, clean air, and clean ocean through circular economy and the 3R principles. Habitat loss and other pressures means estimated 1 million species are threatened with extinction, and you are using equivalent of 1.6 Earths to maintain our current way of lifestyle, and the ecosystems cannot just keep up with our rising demand. I think before me, Professor Sabgaonkar was mentioning about we will need 4 Earths to maintain our need, and where the resources will come from. Many countries have become net importer of the raw materials. Over every 3 seconds, the world loses enough forest to cover a football pitch, and over the last century, we have destroyed half of our wetlands. And over 4.7 million hectares of forest are lost, an area which is equivalent of Denmark. And nearly 80% of world's wastewater is discharged untreated into our ocean, marine ecosystems, and rivers without any form of treatment. Wetlands are being drained out for agriculture, with some 80% of our wetlands, very precious wetlands, are lost over the last 300 years. Present in more than 180 countries, peatlands are vital and superpower ecosystem. They store significant amount of soil carbon. They are also significantly lost or degraded. As much as 50% of our coral reefs are already degraded, and up to 90% of the coral reef could be degraded by 2050, even if we can contain our global warming well below 1.5 degree centigrade. And studies say that there will be more plastics. I think the Ellen MacArthur Foundation say there will be more plastics in our oceans than fish by 2050 if we go business as usual. Professor Ghosh was mentioning how he saw through the window the people are throwing the plastics in the pressure water bodies. So this must be stopped. So how we can really reverse these unsustainable trends? What type of alternative growth model, the economic model that we should be looking for to restore our planetary ecosystem? You may be knowing that along with other international agendas, SDGs, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, the New Urban Agenda, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, there is also a UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration that runs from 2021 until 2030. So our UN Secretary General has also flagged, prefaced in the 2023 latest the UN Sustainable Development Progress Report, and with a remark that progress on more than 50% of the SDG targets is weak and insufficient. And on 30% of the targets, it has stalled or even gone into a reverse direction. So we need to actually do a lot to achieve these planetary agendas and the SDGs. The way out of this dilemma is how to transform our economies and society to make them inclusive, fair, and more connected with the nature. I'm very happy to see that Professor Ghosh and the Institute has put a diagram there. You see the recycle economy and the plant and the soil. That gives a message that we need to take into account the biological cycle in addition to the technology cycle when we want to do we want to address fully the both aspects of the circular economy. The good news is that the circular economy concept offers us an environmentally friendly alternative growth model, which is all about making better use, efficient use of all our natural resources like forest, soil, water, coastal and marine environment, metals and minerals. And circular economy is most importantly a restorative and regenerative economy. Please do not think that if we recycle all the waste, we achieve circularity. It is not. Circular economy is not a recycle-based economy. It is a regenerative, restorative economy, taking into account the restoration of the planetary ecosystems. Lastly, I tell you that all these international agendas and agreements that I mentioned, SDGs, Paris, New Urban Agenda, Sendai Framework, our countries are concurrently implementing. And tomorrow, actually the COP28, the Conference of Parties, the 28th session will commence in Dubai to take stock of its progress on the Paris Agreement on the climate change. And the first global stake will provide a comprehensive assessment on the progress since the adoption of the Paris Agreement. This will help align the efforts on the climate action, including the measures that need to be in place to bridge the gap in progress on the implementation of the Paris Agreement on climate change. The success of all these agendas will largely depend on sustainable management of natural resources, supply security of natural resources. I was mentioning before, many countries have become the net importer of the raw material. Where the resource will come from to meet the aspiration of the people, to meet the need of the people to achieve the sustainable development goals, and how effectively we integrate circular economy principles in all major development sectors. Your industries, small and medium enterprises, extremely critical in the context of India, construction, transport, the mobility sector, energy, forestry, agriculture, water, tourism, trade, and also the commerce. I'm sure this 3-day conference will provide us meaningful insights on how we can mainstream circular economy in all these development sectors and to achieve these international agendas. Finally, I would like to invite you all to the next intergovernmental and high-level 3R forum that will be hosted by Government of Vietnam in October 2024. We are in a course of formulating the new decadal declaration, which will replace the existing Hanoi Declaration. Hanoi Declaration was 2013 to 2023, expiring this year, and the new declaration predominantly circular economy focus, predominantly taking into account the regenerative and restorative aspect of the circular economy. I will welcome all of you, and I'm sure that you will take the outcome of this conference as a meaningful input to the formulation of this new declaration that will be agreed by around 35 countries, which are the participating member countries of the 3R forum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohanty, for your speech and for your warm invitation to the next 3R conference at Vietnam. Now we have the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management and International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water. We request Professor Misuzu Asari, Country-Specific Working Group Member of ISWMAW in Japan and board member of Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management to speak about this. Also, we have a recorded speech by Dr. Osaka Masahiro of the National Institute of Environment Studies, who is the president of Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management, and who will be he was supposed to join online, but he has sent a recorded message, and I request Professor Misuzu Asari to highlight the importance of this MOU, which will go a long way in bridging the gap between waste management and circular economy between India and Japan. Followed by that, I request Professor Ghosh to come forward to the dais to formalize the MOU by signing it. So we'll have the signing first? Or? Okay. Professor Misuzu Asari will be talking about this MOU first.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. I'm Mrs. Asari from Japan Society of Waste Management and Material Cycle and Waste Management. This time, the 4 members from our society is coming there, and we will also host one session tomorrow about disaster waste management. So anyway, we have long collaboration with India and other countries, and this time we decided to sign a new MOU. So I have the video message from our president.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Masahiro Osako, President of Japanese Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management. Today, on behalf of Japanese society, I would like to offer my heartfelt congratulations on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the establishment of the Korea Society of Waste Management. First and foremost, I am honored and delighted to have the opportunity to address you on this special day. While our Japanese society has a history of 34 years, your society has an even longer legacy. Throughout its history, the Korea Society of Waste Management has achieved remarkable progress and has contributed significantly to the academic landscape of Asia and the world. I extend my sincere admiration for the outstanding accomplishment of your society thus far. Over the years, we have nurtured a strong and fruitful partnership between our 2 societies in Korea and Japan. We have drawn inspiration from the diverse activities and achievements of your society, learning valuable lessons along the way. Today, our surroundings are undergoing dramatic change. The field of waste management and material cycles must adapt to the principles of decarbonation and the circular economy. I hope that our 2 societies can collaborate to envision a new system and a roadmap for the future, one that can guide not only Asia, but also the global community. In conclusion, I would like again to express my warmest congratulations to your society on reaching this significant milestone, its 40th anniversary. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. So, as President Osako mentioned, we have long cooperation, and especially Professor Ghosh is our important counterpart. He already cooperated to host last maybe 5 years ago. We held 3 links in New Delhi, and he is one of the hosts, and also he's the chair member, the board member of 3 links, and also our English journal. And this summer, we visited Kolkata to start new collaboration, including young generations like high school students and university students. But this is official academic MOU, including attendance at the meeting like this, and also information exchange and publications, and also promoting cooperative projects. So I want to ask Professor Ghosh to sign to our MOU.
Thank you very much, Dr. Asari and Professor Osako Masahiro. And I'm very pleased to sign the MOU between Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management and International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water, ISWMW. So this is the document. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
You can talk.
Thank you, Dr. Osaka Masahiro, Professor Misuzu Asari, and Professor Sadan. We will now move to the release of the conference proceedings, the release of the 2 books as well on circular economy by Springer and Royal Society of Chemistry. We request the dignitaries to formally release first the conference proceedings, which is kept on the table. We request the dignitaries to formally release the book, Circular Economy Adoption, Catalyzing Decarbonization Through Policy Instrument, edited by Professor Sadhan Kumar Ghosh, published by Springer Nature in November 2023.
This was published on 1st of November 2023.
And to formally release the book, The Circular Economy, Meeting Sustainable Development Goals, edited by Professor Sadhan Kumar Ghosh, published by the Royal Society of Chemistry.
Because we requested the publisher to give us some book for this, but they told that you release it and send it back to us. Because it cost around 13,000 or 14,000 per book. That's why they are very scared. Thank you very much for your support. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We now have the inaugural address by our chief guest. I request Mr. Bart de Jong, the Consulate General of Kingdom of Netherlands in Mumbai, India, to kindly come on the dais to deliver the inaugural address. Mr. Bart de Jong.
Thank you, and good morning to you all. First, would like to start. I feel a bit humbled, actually, between all these professors and doctors, that especially in this area of circular economy. But I first would like to thank Dr. Raman Ramachandran and also Dr. Sajendra Upajay for giving me the opportunity to speak here. It's your 13th conference, and I'm impressed, actually, that's the 13th already, and also by the size of the conference, a few days and so many attendants. The 13th, actually in my office building we don't have a 13th floor, we have a floor 2A, 12A. And the fact that you did not call this the 12A conference means that you're confident. So the 13th is not an omen, you're confident that this 13th conference will be a success as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I have news for you. There is no such thing as waste. That is a slogan by a Dutch waste management company, and I think it's also a very good starting point for this conference. There's no such thing as waste. At present, the world is facing daunting sustainability issues, global warming, drastic declining biodiversity, and an increasing pressure on human habitats around the globe. And this is largely due to the vast quantity of raw materials we use to produce goods, energy and food. The pressure this puts on the environment is systematically exceeding the Earth's capacity to regenerate. This year's World Earth Day was on April 22nd already. That means that after that day, 22nd of April, we are actually further depleting the natural resources of the Earth. We owe it to further generations to ensure that our planet remains habitable. And that is why we need to make the transition to circular economy. This involves adapting our use of raw materials to cut carbon emissions, to protect biodiversity, to improve air, water and soil quality, and to ensure the security of raw material supply. Climate talks, actually, in the UN and wherever, have long been focused on sustainable energy and energy savings. And that makes sense because it's a very direct way of reducing greenhouse gas emissions. But one aspect tends to be very often overlooked, and that is the smarter and more efficient use of raw materials. So in a way, you could say that the circular economy, the smarter use of raw materials, is the missing link in the Paris Agreement. A circular economy, fully circular economy, can save up to 60% in carbon emissions. Circular economy flows are made up of almost exclusively of reusable, primary, secondary and bio-based raw materials. In an ideal system, products are manufactured, distributed and consumed in closed-loop systems. As a result, the value of natural resources, materials and products is retained as long as possible, virtually eliminating waste, but not completely. I'll come back to that later. In 2016, the Netherlands actually was one of the first countries in the world to lay down its ambition for a circular economy in policy, by means of a government-wide program which was titled The Circular Economy in the Netherlands by the year 2050. In that year, the Netherlands aspires to have a fully circular economy. That means that the environmental effects of the use of raw materials for Dutch production and consumption will fall within these planetary boundaries I spoke about before, World Earth Day. The government is working to give concrete shape to these boundaries, and the resultant safe operating space for in the Netherlands, for the use of raw materials is also pressing at the European level. We are actually pressing that at European level, and also, by the way, at the UN level, and also in this network of countries for accelerating the circular economy called PACE. Until recently, the policy was focused primarily on a voluntary, non-committal approach. But to achieve our ambition, however, measures of a more target-oriented and also of a mandatory nature are required. So we think, as a government, we need to shape the economic, physical and social environment so as to make sustainable circular products the obvious, easy and also fair choice for businesses and also members of the public, the ordinary man in the street. And that's why we've now developed a National Circular Economy Program 2023-2030, which is available online, also in English, where we will be adopting a mix of pricing, standard setting, and also stimulus measures. Whereas the policy previously had focused on the back of the supply chain, the Netherlands will now be targeting measures that are more at the input side, such as sustainable extraction of raw materials and also circular design of products. Design products in such a way that they're easily dismantleable. There are 4 ways in which we can make use of our materials more circular. First, reducing the use of raw materials, the sheer volume of it. You can use fewer primary materials, raw materials, by abstaining from the production of purchase of certain products. Do we really need all the things we buy? You can share products between consumers. You can share a washing machine in a building, for instance, those kinds of things. Or we can make product designs more efficient. Now, these actually are also partly actions on the level of the consumer itself. And for that we need to raise awareness. You could also substitute raw materials, replacing primary materials with secondary, often recycled raw materials, or even sustainable bio-based materials. Or with with raw materials which have a lower environmental burden. An example is a mandatory percentage of recycled content in a product. That's what we're going to in the Netherlands. So in this way, you're narrowing the circular loop. A third item that we focus on, an area that we focus on, is extending product lifetime. Make longer and more intensive use of products and components through reuse and repair. How often is it that we just discard things that actually could still go on for, we could still use for 5 or 10 years with a little repair? So an example of a measure that is increasing the longevity of the of products is a registry, mandatory registry of repairers of electric and electronic goods. Often you don't even know to go with your coffee machine, for instance, where it broke down. Well, if you have a register of repairers of these goods, that makes it easier. So that's also what we're doing. And finally, of course, there's high-grade processing. High-grade processing of recycled materials. This will not only reduce the amount of waste being incinerated or dumped, but it will also ensure a more high-grade supply of secondary raw materials. We've drawn up agendas for 5 supply chains with the most harmful environmental impacts. Concrete targets have been formulated, and we have a specific policy developed for the most impactful product groups within these chains. And these 5 are consumer goods, I mentioned electronic goods already, packaging, disposables, textiles, all these have a very high environmental impact. Plastics, of course. Plastics was mentioned before already, is a burgeoning problem at the moment. Plastic packaging, plastics in the construction industry, and plastics in agriculture. And allow me to make a small sidestep concerning plastics. I think the city of Mumbai itself has taken a lead here in prohibiting the use of plastic shopping bags. When I arrived in Mumbai a number of years ago, I unpacked my suitcases. I had about 20-25 plastic bags in it. I put them in a cupboard, and after 2 or 3 months in Mumbai, I looked at the cloud of bags, shopping bags I got in Mumbai. They were all linen. There was not one plastic bag in that. So that's really a commendable example, I would say, that more cities in the world should follow. A third, a group of products is construction products, materials used in construction. It's for housing, of course, offices, industrial buildings. Concrete, of course, is a very important material that you can reuse. And then, last but not least, the manufacturing of capital goods, machinery, wind farms, solar panels, climate control systems, all having a very big footprint, ecological footprint that we should work on to reduce. But as indicated before, even in a fully circular economy, there will always be some residual flows that cannot be put to good use and will have to be disposed of as waste. And this is where sustainable waste management becomes important. So apart from reducing the greenhouse gas, circular economy offers new economic opportunities. Circular business models make current systems more efficient by using these materials as indicated before. but also by creating value from waste. In India, for the time to come, waste management is very, very pressing and urgent. Apart from difficulties in changing the supply chains in this country and also raising awareness, there is a tremendous problem of legacy waste that needs to be managed. And that is why India and the Netherlands this year embarked on a program for sustainable waste management. The program looks at all stages of waste management, so from waste collection to segregation, to recycling, to upcycling, and then at the end of the chain also waste to energy. For waste to energy there's different solutions. You can go for waste biogas or waste to waste incineration. This program, it serves three purposes. It will have an environmental impact, of course, by reducing pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. But we also, in this program, aim to have a social impact by creating cleaner and safer jobs in the waste management sector in India. And finally, it will create value out of waste and therefore also increase commercial cooperation, business-to-business cooperation. Wherever there's value to be gained, business steps in. Now, this is already leading to tangible results in India. Last Monday, I had the pleasure, the honor, to be honest, to be in Nagpur, where His Excellency for Roads and Highways, Minister Gadkari, and also the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, they inaugurated the first biogas plant within our program. And we consider this actually to be a first step in the cooperation with India. The biogas plant was built by a company called SUSBD, Sustainable Business Development. Director Jaap Veenenbos is actually invited to speak here tomorrow or the day after on the conference. And as I said, we see this as a first step. We hope this project gets replicated in other cities of India as well. I hear an echo there. As I said before, we owe it to future generations to ensure that our planet remains habitable. And that's why we really need to make this transition to sustainable waste management and in the end to circular economy. Thank you for your attention. I wish you all the best in the conference in the coming days. I hope that indeed this will contribute to making the world more circular.
Thank you so much, sir. We now move to the announcement of the 14th IconSWM-CE and IPLA Global Forum 2024. Professor Dayanand Siddhavadam, the Vice Chancellor of GITAM, deemed to be University, Visakhapatnam, is with us online. We cordially invite you, sir, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Professor Dayanand Siddhavadam, Vice Chancellor of GITAM University, Visakhapatnam. Thank you for your warm invitation and agreeing to host the 14th IconSWM-CE at Visag or Visakhapatnam. So it's a beautiful city, and we welcome all the delegates present there to come to the 14th, to join the 14th IconSWM-CE. Now it's time for the award ceremony. And we'll be presenting the IconSWM-CE Lifetime Achievement Awards and the IconSWM-CE Cleanest Village Award. So the first award is IconSWM-CE Lifetime Achievement Award, and it is being given to Mr. Ullas Parlikar. Mr. U.V. Parlikar served as Director Geocycle Business, ACC Limited, and Deputy Head Geocycle India, a global consultant providing strategies for sustainable waste management, circular economy, policy advocacy, AFRs, and co-processing. With 41 years of experience in Hindustan Levers Limited, National Peroxide Limited, ACC Limited, and own consultancy, he is an MTech from IIT Madras and senior management and senior leadership programs in IMD Switzerland. We request Mr. Ullas Parlikar to kindly come on the dais to receive the award. We request Professor Shadan Kumar Ghosh, President ISWMAW, and Chief Guest Mr. Ba Tejong to hand over the prestigious award to Mr. Ullas Parlikar.
I request his wife to please come on the dais. Please. We invited specially her.
The Moola Mailyang is a village in Saipung block in Jaintia Hills district of Meghalaya state in India. It is located at a distance of 10 kilometers from the district headquarters. The village has become a famous beacon of greenery and cleanliness among the villages of East Jaintia Hills district. Today the village is filled with lush green scenery. The houses and streets are clean, trees planted in every nook and corner, and both the young and old ensure there is no littering. The village organizes the annual Christmas Lights Festival every December, in which the entire village is lighted up and decorated with bright and beautiful lights. We request Mr. Umang Pachinag, the head man of the village, and his team to kindly come up on the dais to receive the award. Okay, so it's already here. The IconSWM-CE Excellence Award 2023 for community participation of the cleanest village for sustainable development, presented to Moola Mailyang village, Meghalaya, India.
In 2019, we gave another award for the cleanest village to Molinlaw in Meghalaya. So I request you to go there and enjoy these two villages. These are one of the
So there's another lifetime achievement award that is for Dr. Kare Helge Carstensen of Sintef, Norway, but unfortunately he hasn't arrived as yet. So when he arrives, the Lifetime Achievement Award will be handed over to him. Now the IconSWM-CE Excellence Awards for Co-Processing 2023 will be announced by Mr. Parlikar, and we request Mr. Parlikar, UV Parlikar, to kindly take it forward, please. The awards will be handed over by Professor Ghosh and our chief guest for today, Mr. Bart de Jong.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to announce the awards for Excellence Awards for Co-Processing. We have been organizing these particular awards to the cement industry since, as Professor Ghosh said, 2018 onwards. And there's remarkable progress that is happening in the country in terms of utilizing wastes as resources in the cement manufacture. And they're also, this year onwards, we are also decided to honor and felicitate the agencies who are contributing to this particular cause by processing the waste and bringing it and making it worthy for utilization in the cement kilns. So I have the pleasure of announcing the winners of this particular awards. We had received several applications and we had shortlisted, and they have made presentations to the jury committee based on which the selection was done. What I'm going to do is announce the plants and the awards and request the gentleman representing the plant to come to the dais, receive the awards. There may be more than 2-3 awards, so we will give one award as a representation. Balance they can collect it from the backstage. So these particular awards, we had 4 categories. One is, what is the TSR, that means the thermal substitution rate. How much coal are they substituting with waste material, with the processed waste material? As Chief Guest said, there's no waste, and I agree with him. There's absolutely no waste anywhere. It's all resource. So so whoever is utilizing larger amount of waste, we said we will felicitate them. The second category was in terms of the quantum of plastic and the refuse, the RDF, which is generated in the country. So whoever is utilizing the largest quantity, those are the ones which have been awarded. The third category was in terms of the overall waste as resources, whether it is as a fuel or as a raw material. So because in cement kiln we can use waste as resources, as raw materials as well, and that also reduces the material going into the landfill substantially. So that was the third category. And fourth category is there are many industries who are putting up facilities in making investments to process the material and then utilize it in the cement kilns. So whoever is investing for promoting this particular co-processing initiative, we had decided to honor them and felicitate them. So we had, as I said, several applications, and based on that we have done the shortlisting. Then we have decided the awardees. The jury has decided, and I have the pleasure of announcing them to you. So first I would like to announce ACC Limited Wadi. I would like to request the gentleman to come and pick it up. So this particular ACC Wadi received the award for the plant head, under whose leadership several initiatives have happened. Mr. Anil Gupta is here to receive it. And then the quantum of AF co-processed, the total quantum of AF co-processed in 5 years, the quantum of AR co-processed in this year, and quantum of AR co-processed in past 5 years. So they have been doing this particular initiative of utilizing large quantum utilization of waste as resources. I am very happy to tell you that this particular plant utilizes of the order of 900 tons per day of waste as resource, which is a great achievement, I can tell you. And they are replacing more than 25% of their coal. So thank you, Mr. Gupta. Thank you. Then we have the limited ACC Limited Chanda. Mr. Gupta, I think I would like to request you and also the team to collect it on behalf of ACC Chanda. Here also, the TSR achieved in 2023, that was their the achievement, and also the total quantum of plastic and RDF co-processed in 5 years. Large quantities the ACC Chanda plant has co-processed in the past 5 years, and the plant head, Mr. Anil Gupta, he is also receiving, under his leadership, this particular initiative has happened. In last 5 years, they have reached a thermal substitution rate of about 20%, which is remarkable achievement. So congratulations ACC Wadi and ACC Chanda teams. May I now request Dalmia Cement Limited Belgaum, and may I request the Belgaum team to come over to the dais. Yes, please come, Umka. So this team has won the TSR achieved in 2023, the Diamond Award. Then average TSR achieved over past 5 years, Platinum Award. Then total quantity of plastic and RDF co-processed, Diamond Award. Pre-processing facility created Excellence Award, and co-processing facility created Excellence Award. So several awards the Dalmia Belgaum plant has got. So I request them to receive this particular award and collect the other balance awards from the backstage. Congratulations, Dalmia Belgaum team. Congratulations for your success. I forgot to mention ACC Wadi had 2 Diamond Awards and 2 Gold Awards, whereas ACC Chanda had 1 Platinum and 1 Gold Award. Congratulations. Now I would like to request Dalmia Cement Kadapa, the Kadapa team, if it is there. Oh yes, so please receive the award on behalf of. So Kadapa has received Diamond Award for TSR achieved in 2023, Platinum Award for average TSR achieved over past 5 years, Diamond Award for co-processing plastic and RDF co-processed in 2023, and Platinum Award for total quantum of plastic and RDF utilized in past 5 years. And the award actually also is being bestowed on Mr. Mukesh Kumar Sinha, who is the plant head of this particular plant. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now may I request Dalmia Cement Dalmiapuram plant representative to come on the dais and receive the awards. Dalmiapuram has received Platinum Award for the TSR achieved for past 5 years, and then Platinum Award for plastic and RDF co-processed in 2023, total plastic and RDF co-processed in 5 years, Platinum Award, and Excellence Awards for pre-processing facility created. If the representative is not there, I think we may give it later on. Then we had the Dalmia Cement Arialur, if the representative is there. So I will just announce that the awards will be sent over to them separately. Platinum Award for TSR achieved in 2023. Platinum Award for average TSR achieved for past 5 years, and Platinum Award for total quantum of plastic and RDF utilized in past 5 years. So they had 3 Platinum Awards, Dalmia Cement, Ariyalur. Now we have JK Lakshmi Cement Durg. If the representative is there, may I request? Yes, please. Please come down. Durg has received Silver Award for TSR achieved in 2023. And the award also goes to the plant head under whose leadership this particular TSR was achieved. The plant head is Mr. Mukul Srivastava. So congratulations for receiving the award. Congratulations and thank you very much. May I now request Udaipur Cement Works, yes please. So Udaipur Cement Works has is receiving Platinum Award for the quantum of AR co-process, alternative raw materials utilized in the 2023, and also total quantum of alternative raw materials utilized in last 5 years. So both Platinum Awards, congratulations Udaipur team. Congratulations. May I now invite Shri Jay Jyoti Cements Limited, if the representative is there? Yes, please. So, Jay Jyoti Cement Limited is receiving the Co-Processing Facility Created Excellence Award. They have created a wonderful facility for co-processing, for which they are being awarded as the Excellence Award, and they have just begun the co-processing in this particular facility. Congratulations, Jay Jyoti. May I invite now Kalburgi Cement Limited. Kalburgi has received Diamond Award for average TSR achieved over past 5 years. Platinum Award for quantum of AF co-processed in 2023, Platinum Award for total quantum of AF co-processed in last 5 years, Diamond Award for quantum of AR co-processed in 2023, and Diamond Award for quantum of AR co-processed in last 5 years. We also felicitate Mr. Sham Vaishnav, who is the plant head of this particular Kalburgi Cement Limited, under whose leadership these achievements were received. Congratulations and all the best to you. The next one is JSW Cement Limited, Nandyal. Yes, please. So JSW is receiving Gold Award for TSR achieved in 2023 and Gold Award for the total quantum of plastic and RDF co-processed in 2023. Mr. Navneet Chauhan, who is the plant head under whose leadership these achievements were accomplished. So we are felicitating Mr. Navneet Chauhan as well. Congratulations. Congratulations, JSW. JK Cement.
I'll request other dignitaries to please come here. So you can also enjoy.
Right. Next is JK White Cement, Gotan. I request the Gotan team to come on the dais. Mr. Aniruddha Dani, who is the unit head, he is here, and along with his team, Manoj. So it's remarkable to see a white cement, to utilize waste as a resource in white cement is a very, very difficult task. But this particular plant has done that, and they are now utilizing almost 20% of their fuel as resources from waste, which is a remarkable journey. So we have pleasure in honoring them with the Gold Award for the TSR achieved in 2023, and also the Appreciation Award to Mr. Aniruddha Dani for achieving this particular feat. Congratulations. Congratulations, JK White Cement. May I now request JK Lakshmi Cement Sirohi. JK Lakshmi Cement Sirohi, please come. JK Lakshmi Cement has achieved gold award for TSR achieved in 2023, platinum award for quantum of AF co-processed in 2023, gold award for total quantum of AF co-processed in last 5 years, diamond award for quantum of AR co-processed in 2023, and platinum award for total quantum of AR co-processed in last 5 years. Mr. SK Saxena, under whose leadership this particular thing was achieved, he is also being felicitated in the process. Congratulations, JK Lakshmi Cement, Sirohi. So we have finished with all the cement plants who have been bestowed this particular excellence award for co-processing. Now from this year, as I said, and Professor Ghosh also said in the morning, we are felicitating the people who are actually playing a major role in bringing this waste material to the cement industry for co-processing. Whatever waste that he talked about having been seen from his window, that is not a waste, that is a resource. And that is where that resource is being converted into an acceptable material for cement utilization, or also waste to energy, or for power plant. And these are the people who are contributing to that particular cause. So first, I would like to invite Sigma Global Environ Solutions Private Limited. It's a company which is transforming the landfills into country to a resource treasure. Huge amount of resources are being removed from the dump yards, processed them, converted them into resource, and are being made available to the cement plants. Mr. Varun, he is receiving the award on behalf of Sigma. Congratulations. If I remember correctly, Varun, what is the volume of resources you have supplied to cement industry in the past 5 years? Around 3 million? More than 1.5 million. More than 1.5 million tons of resources have been removed from the dump yards and have been sent across to the cement industry by this particular company. So, congratulations, Sigma. May I now request Saurashtra Enviro Projects Private Limited, Surat, to come on the dais and receive Mr. Chetan Contractor and Mr. Pushpak are here to receive the award. Welcome, sir. Saurashtra Enviro, yeah. So Saurashtra is into this particular waste management. I'm sure friends here from other countries, from abroad, are aware about Chetan sir, your company to whom you sold? Veolia. So you are aware about Veolia. So Veolia has taken over their plant now. So he was able to kind of magnify, or diversify or make into a very big business of waste. And Veolia has taken over that. And now he is into new areas of, providing waste, converting into resources, etc. Remarkable work they are doing in this area. So I request Mr. Chetan to receive this particular award. Congratulations. Please. Thank you very much. And now we have Anthony Lara. And I request the representatives of Anthony Lara to come on the dais. Anthony Lara is like a home. Mumbai is a home for them. They are managing the entire Mumbai's waste and converting that into a resource, and they are sending it across for utilization. We have Mr. Jose and other representatives coming on the dais. Welcome, sir. Today, Mumbai generates close to about 8,000 plus tons of waste, and I can assure you, not a single waste they are allowing to go into the dump yard now. Even they are removing the dump yard material and sending it across for utilization. Large quantities of, waste are being processed, and you will be amazed to know that this particular process material is traveling 800 plus kilometers to go to cement industries for utilization. It's a business model, and that's a remarkable achievement. Congratulations, Anthony Lara, Enviro Solutions. Thank you very much. Yeah. We'll have a group photo also. And then I would like to request RE Sustainability Limited. If RE Sustainability Limited is here. So RE Sustainability is a company which is having operations at several cities in the country, and they are converting large amount of waste into resources and then sending it across to cement industry. The last one that we would like to felicitate is GIPL from Surat. I don't know if someone has arrived from GIPL. So GIPL is also another industry which is converting industrial as well as municipal waste into resources and is making it available to the cement industry. You will be surprised to know that although we are probably the lowest in terms of fuel substitution in the country, probably about 4% or 5% on a country average, the amount of waste that cement industry utilizes today, if you count that, we are probably 4th or 5th in the world, the largest. We utilize more than 4 million tons of different kinds of waste as resources in cement manufacture. So that's the achievement that the cement industry is having today and is trying to help out in terms of the sustainable waste management that we are talking about today. So thank you, gentlemen, thank you so much, and thank you all the participants and also the awardees. Congratulations once again. I would like to request all the awardees to please come on the dais for a group photo. Whoever has received, please come on the dais. Come with the flag, please. Yeah. This will be the grand finale event of this particular inauguration, and we want everybody to be there with their plaques. We are very proud of you, and we would like to preserve this particular photo as a memory, not just for us, but for the entire society.
Juniors who are, please can go that side.
Yeah, I also have to go there, yeah.
Somebody who is interested in seeing in central also. Yeah, he is the leader. Please come here, lady. You have to sit here. Otherwise you can stand that side. I think you can just move a little bit, spread out like this. Yeah. Wait. I request Palika ji also come. Umang Pachang? Oh, you are well smart.
Congratulations to all the winners. And now we move on to the next section. That is, we start with the keynote speeches in the inaugural session.
So Dr. Prasad Modak has a rich experience of 4 decades in environmental policy, environmental assessment, ESG at financing institutions, business and sustainability, circular economy and capacity building and environmental management. Dr. Prasad was a professor at the Center for Environmental Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay, and later as professor adjunct at the Center for Technology Alternatives in rural areas from 2009 to 2017. He is currently the Managing Director of EMC and Director of eConnect Knowledge Foundation. Dr. Prasad has worked with almost all key UN multilateral and bilateral developmental institutions in the world. These include the World Bank, IFC, Asian Development Bank, European Investment Bank, UNEP, UNIDO, UNDP, DFID, Swedish and Dutch embassies in Delhi, and intergovernmental organizations such as the Asian Productivity Organization, Tokyo. Apart from Government of India and various state governments, Dr. Modak's advice is sought by governments of Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Mauritius, Thailand, and Vietnam. We invite Dr. Prasad Modak to deliver the keynote address, please.
Oh, that will be. What do I say? Good morning or good afternoon? I think we just crossed 12. Great pleasure to be here with all of you. I must thank you, dignitaries here on the dais and the organizers, to give me this opportunity. And I'll like to, I mean, it's really shameful I'm asking this question after all these awards have been given to so many companies here, Ulas, that I think is a wrong question. The title of my speech is it worth recycling? But maybe it's a good idea that we rethink on this question, and that's the whole idea. I thought I might like to open up a canvas later on. Next 3 days we have excellent speakers, and they might like to answer this question, that is it really worth recycling? A little bit about me in this context, although I have been introduced. Where is Rudra? Rudra, my memory goes back to the logo I did for IPLA. And I think we spent quite some time in New York to get this IPLA ratified by the United Nations. So that's my memory. But I think two things which excited me in my earlier work. One was I was one of the authors with the project launch between the ISWA and UNEP IETC, which stands for International Environmental Technology Center in Osaka. And we authored the Global Waste Management Outlook. And then Aga is here. He was one of the co-authors that I edited and wrote the Asian Waste Management Outlook. And later on, this is the first case, I think all of you should know, that India was the only country after the International Resources Panel was set up by the United Nations to set up an Indian Resources Panel where I was functioning. And then more recently, last 4 or 5 years, I've been helping India's Niti Aayog to draft Mission Circular Economy. So all these, to me, have been exciting opportunities, and I thought basis of that experience, I will share my views on is it really worth recycling. First of all, let us admit that recycling has great benefits. And these benefits, many of us have spoken, and I think it's very evident that it conserves natural resources because we reduce also extraction of virgin materials, and recycling diverts waste that we otherwise would have sent it to incinerators and landfill. There is a huge argument whether incineration of waste, is it circular or not circular? I'll leave that question to you. But recycling certainly strengthens our economy and creates jobs, and nobody will disagree here. But for recycling to be effective, you need to segregate waste at source. Either manually we do that or mechanically. But that's the challenge, and all of us know that segregation doesn't really happen most of the times, and what we land up is with the mixed waste. There have been, therefore, in the last 7 or 8 years, thoughts coming, whether do we really follow a multiple streams of waste collection or single stream? Just to give an example, many city corporations in the United States have shifted back again to what it used to be, that we collect waste not segregated, but mixed, because the technology of separation and cleaning has advanced significantly using artificial intelligence and robotics, and we can even cross 95% of very good separation from the mixed waste. So that's interesting, but then that also would help if you save on collecting different types of waste streams. You may reduce significantly even the greenhouse gas emissions. But I have here some concerns. I have 3 concerns. First is, of course, what happens to the waste pickers when they segregate manually those single waste streams which otherwise could be contaminated. So we got to have the mechanical separation I talked earlier about. to be really high efficiency. And we just can't afford this when we talk about decentralized waste processing. But the second concern is also when we talk about recycled products, and if these recycled products have that contamination, then we are obviously creating risk for the consumers or users of those recycled goods. So that's one issue. But if you now start looking at the recycling economics, which is important for us, it all will depend on the cost of collection, sorting and transportation. And the transportation bit is worrisome. There's a huge cost when it comes to transporting waste. You know, last when you mentioned the waste goes to 800 kilometers, it's a lot. It's a huge transportation. There is a huge debate who would pay for that transportation between those who are users of that waste and those who are sending the waste. But it's an important cost item. If you look at the items then are cleaning, conversion, storing, never to forget storing, and selling. Now, cleaning has a challenge of contamination. We don't have yet formal contamination standards, which, if you remember, the green fence in China started talking about contamination standards, which affected global recycling industry. Then you have conversion, which faces problems of choice of technology and the scale. Storing is always done because we want to combat the price volatility. And that volatility means here, because we do see huge storages to be created, to get the right entry point, when do we sell? And selling is getting more and more competitive because sometimes now the virgin products are cheaper, much cheaper than the recycled products. So that's a kind of a complex situation. And as we will see more and more social standards coming in recycling, which already is happening at the end of the investors, you find the cost of recycled product sale being high and the market slowly getting distorted. That's what some people say, that recycling is a victim of its own success. So for example, when you saw, say, high-density polyethylene manufacturing, over the scale has made HDPE so cheap that you just can't stand the competition. And you don't really can make a strong business case to use that recycled plastic. And that's a big challenge many markets have been facing. In fact, recycling is not just a matter of recovering recyclable material. We got to look at the total economic system across the life cycle, where we look at all the costs, of course the benefits, and try to balance whether recycling is really worth. The cost of processing recyclable material may then far outweigh the value of the commodity if you start bringing this total cost accounting approach. I mean, most importantly, unless the consumers buy those recycled products and we have a good marketplace, the situation will be depressing, that you may make recycled products. They could be expensive, but they also may not have a marketplace. Just to give you a corporate response, typically, and this I have taken example from the United States, that companies started consciously buying recycled products to create the marketplace. It's a win-win situation. Once you get volumes, the price can become competitive. And you also see that they were prepared for tighter and tighter environmental regulations, foreseeing that, and then cleverly purchasing more and more recycled products in their procurement. So the whole idea then is to avoiding first in the use of products to the extent possible harmful chemicals and non-biodegradable materials. And that's the way that we can make recycling more competitive and easier. And there are many examples where already phase-outs have started happening in the products. You also see forward integration happening, where businesses who have a take-back and EPR-related obligations are taking the leadership, both where economics and the leadership in responsible business, they marry. And you see more and more such corporate examples coming in. But the key question still is that can we design the product to make recycling easier? That is what we call designing products for disassembly, so that we can make it easier to recycle. So upstream thinking is equally important as much we think about downstream and how do we do effective recycling. According to many economists, recycling everything is not good. economics of recycling, in fact, has been found to be volatile, complex. It's a very contextual subject, but you cannot therefore generalize. So we got to figure out that can we not focus only, let's say, on aluminium and glass and plastic or paper, but some of these materials have a long life and they deserve to be having a second life. And that's the thinking which many economists have been putting it. Now, this is a very controversial report, publication of 2014. Question was, is there a socially optimal recycling rate? Now, this is a professor, Kinnaman, who worked on the data from Japan, and they came up with a very controversial finding: don't do more than 10% recycling. All right? Now, this is something you will, I'm sure, have all the questions, and you must read Kinnaman's calculations. How did he arrive at the socially optimal recycling rate? The number is not important, but the thought process he put on the recycling economics was important. So I think he had very interesting questions. He asked two basic questions. Is recycling good for environment? And does it make an economic sense? Now, the answers to these questions are difficult. They haven't been asked in the Indian waste recycling industry right now. But what, again, you will see, you can ask, isn't recycling a moral responsibility? And then economics doesn't matter if it is a moral responsibility. Aren't the calculations which have been done by economists is a more of a short-term thinking? Shouldn't we therefore focus on consuming less and extend the product life cycle and resort to as much you could do, repair and refurbish, so that the situation of going to end of life is much longer and the material stays longer in circulation? Therefore, look at the kinds of recycling rates we see across the world. And let me warn you that these numbers are actually, I will call them as guesstimates. This is one industry we found where data is a huge, huge challenge. So that's the kind of a variation. But at the same time, the Asia-Pacific region, the waste recycling services, markets are expanding. I mean, from $22 odd billion, we expect in next 10 years to grow to $35+ billion. So we have an interesting story here of two who do not anymore remain friends. Where the first one says, please continue giving me more waste for my business, because I want to recycle. I want more waste. Whereas the other friend is saying, I'm now looking for waste-less technologies where I can be more profitable and compliant. So we have this challenge of some people want waste and some people are interested to reduce waste. The only way then is to expand the envelope to remanufacturing. We have to learn how to recreate. And what is that remanufacturing about? In the material flow system, you'll see that it cuts before you recycle. It plows back the products to remanufacture the products. And remanufacture subsumes repair, refurbish, recycle, and recovery. This is something what we call as a mover of the wheel of circular economy. Right now, therefore, in discussions while drafting India's mission on circular economy, there is a thought process to set up an Indian Remanufacturing Council. And this council may be domiciled in the Make in India program. It may have a combination of stakeholders from ministries such as Steel, Ministry of Mines, MoIT, universities, academia, whatever you have in the council, and the associations like the Material Recyclers Association of India. The key point here is to set the standards for remanufacturing goods, develop a monitoring framework for remanufacturing activities. It's very important that we look into the skilling for remanufacturing. Essentially, how do you use remanufacturing to go a step ahead beyond what we talk of recycling to make the economy truly inclusive and supporting also at the same time just transition? So friends, this is my last slide. So indeed, the answer is it is worth recycling, but only if you understand its 360-degree perspective and embed recycling in remanufacturing. So that's from me, and I'm sure many may disagree to what I said, few may agree, but I think the good food of thought, as we are, I think, breaking for lunch at some point of time, and I think the next 2-3 days you could certainly discuss more and more on what I'm saying. Thank you once again. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Professor Modak, for your wonderful speech. And we are fortunate now to have over our Lifetime Achievement Award winner, IconSWM-CE Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Dr. Kare H. Carstensen, who is a co-chairman of IconSWM country-specific working group in Norway. He is also the chief scientist at the Foundation of Scientific and Industrial Research, SINTEF, in Norway. And he will be first welcomed by Mr. Shevgaonkar, the provost, Professor Shevgaonkar, the provost, with the traditional shawl. We will welcome him with the traditional shawl. And I request Professor Shadhan Kumar Ghosh. I request Professor Shadhan Kumar Ghosh and the Consulate General from Netherlands, Bart de Jong, Mr. Bart de Jong, to kindly confirm the Lifetime Achievement Award on him. Dr. Kare H. Carstensen is a prominent, has expertise which spans across various domains, including science, ESG strategies, and circular economy. He has been at the forefront of introducing co-processing in the cement industry in multiple limitations. He is recognized as a pioneer in utilizing high-temperature cement kiln for the safe management of hazardous chemicals. He has held several teaching and research positions at various universities. He has spent a decade at the Asian Institute of Technology in Bangkok, and he has more than 120 research articles published. I now invite Dr. Kare H. Carstensen for the keynote address. So the keynote address is of 15 minutes. Dr. Carstensen.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, even if I'm a little bit late from Delhi, but anyhow, now I'm here, and I would like to share with you some of the latest knowledge about plastic waste, and especially non-recyclable plastic waste. And I will take you to a journey around in Asia to see how we are dealing with plastic waste today. This photo is actually taken from this city, and it shows that we have actually been producing more than 9 billion tons of plastic since the 1950s. And out of that, more than 6 billion tons has become a waste. Only 9% has been recycled, around 12% has been incinerated, and almost 80% is dumped. We can find it everywhere. We have thought that recycling will actually be the solution to plastic waste, but unfortunately that's not the case. As I mentioned, only 9% has been recycled up to now, and there are problems with sorting and segregation, of course, with polymer group restrictions when you mix these plastics. Recycled plastic is often of poor technical quality and often very low economic value. Of course, it depends a little bit on the oil price. And recently we have seen that plastic pellets, which has been recycled, are contaminated with hundreds of hazardous chemicals, even pesticides. So it becomes a concern. And this photos is from Vietnam, taken recently, and it shows you a recycling village, typical recycling village. And it shows that non-recyclable plastic waste out of the recycled is usually dumped, as you can see here, in dump sites or even burned openly in the fields, causing, of course, pollution. And we reckon that this is actually a ticking time bomb, because now we realize that there are more than 5 billion tons of plastic waste accumulated in dump sites and landfills around the world. This plastic will slowly break down and leach into groundwaters and rivers, and constitute a continuous source of microplastic to our ocean in the foreseeable future. And this is something we don't see. It happens here and now, and it will continue for almost forever. In addition to that microplastic, we have a lot of plastic coming through canals and from drainage from land-based activities. And we reckon that if we don't do anything with it, it will be more plastic than fish in the ocean in a few decades. And of course, microplastic in the ocean constitute a serious threat to biodiversity, economy, and our own health. Just recently, half a year ago, it was published that microplastic can be found in the blood of human beings, and it seems that these microplastic traverse throughout the body and embed themselves in organs. And of course, this is deeply concerning, because we don't really know the health impact. Plastic doesn't degrade easily, and some of the plastic can actually last in the ocean for hundreds and even thousands of years. And the reason why we see all this plastic in the ocean is, of course, basically due to inadequate waste treatment capacity and infrastructure in many countries, as I will show you. This is again a photo from Mumbai. And you can see some people are actually trying to recycle what's possible, take out the valuable plastic, but it's not good. Even in the Mumbai beach, this is not so far from here, you can see plastic actually functioning as a Christmas tree in the mangroves. So that's why we started this project called Optosea, Ocean Plastic Turned into an Opportunity in Circular Economy, a few years back. It's a Norwegian government-funded project, and it aims to explore the involvement of cement industry and to assess how it can enhance treatment capacity for non-recyclable plastic waste in 5 countries, basically: China, India, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam. And the overarching goal is to contribute to the reduction of microplastic released into the sea. These 5 countries constitute a super important region. They have a population of around 3 billion people, where half live in coastal areas. They have the highest plastic waste production in the world today. They produce 217,000 tons every day of plastic waste. And they have one thing in common, and that is insufficient waste treatment capacity and infrastructure. On the other hand, this super important region also have the highest density of, for example, cement kilns, steel plants, power plants, and they produce around 75% of all the world's cement. And of course, contribute with a huge amount of CO2 from tens of thousands of industry plants around in this region. And of course, if we can replace some of the coal used in this industry with non-recyclable plastic waste, then it's of course a win-win opportunity. And I will show you some photos from the pilots that we have been doing in this area. Just to mention that in Norway, my country, we are using the cement industry to actually dispose of all the organic hazardous waste, but of course also other kinds of waste. And today, this Norwegian cement industry is replacing more than 75% of its coal with various waste streams, also plastic waste, also organic hazardous waste. If you look to Asia, you can see that the replacement in Asian cement industry in average is around 3%. 3% of the coal is replaced by various waste. So there is a huge opportunity of using co-processing, as we call it, in, for example, the cement industry, in Asian cement industry. And this will, of course, contribute to reach net zero for several energy-intensive industries, and definitely improve waste management and resource efficiency and circular economy. Cement co-processing have many benefits. The cement plants are already there in operation, operates 24/7. They have a very large waste treatment capacity. It's a complete and final disposal solution. There are no future liabilities because everything is destroyed. So, for example, compared with landfills, there is no liabilities in the future. No residues are created, everything is recycled inside the kilns. High temperature destroy all hazardous chemicals, if there should be any. Emissions will normally be unaffected if this is operated in a proper way. And the energy recovery is very efficient. It's close to 100% compared to an incinerator, which is around 25%. It reduces the coal and raw material consumption, of course, and reduces CO2 emissions compared to building new municipal solid waste incinerators or landfills. And last but not least, very important, is very cost efficient compared to building new incinerator, which is very common in this part of the world. In this Opto-C project, we are doing pilot demonstrations where we compare the technical and environmental performance under baseline coal-only conditions with co-processing conditions where various sources and amounts of non-recyclable plastic waste are used as a co-fuel together with the coal. And this, we hope, will provide an independent performance verification, and the results will be published in, independent and scientific and technical journals. We are testing basically 4 main sources of non-recyclable plastic waste. It's plastic from dump sites and landfills, plastic from large rivers, plastic from big industry like paper recycling, and plastic from plastic collection in big cities like Mumbai, where some part will always be non-recyclable. Starting with Thailand. If you look to Thai dump sites, they contain between 40 and 80% plastic. They are the highest plastic consumers in the world. And if you extrapolate these dump site findings to the 2,500 dump sites we see in the country, you will end up having an estimate of close to 190 million tons of plastic waste in the 2,500 dump sites. So what do we do? Well, we do what we call landfill mining, and I'm pretty sure you will hear more about that later in this event. And we take out valuable fractions, various fractions, and here you see the plastic fraction, which are used as a co-fuel in a nearby cement plant in Saraburi, north of Bangkok. This is Yangtze River, the biggest in Asia, and it brings millions of tons and cubic meter of floating material downstream towards the South China Sea every year. This floating material contains between 13 and 20% plastic and is usually collected by dam authorities, for example, and it's dumped. Here you see the dam authority in the biggest dam in the world, collecting this continuously 6 to 8 months a year. We took this material to a cement plant upstream, and here you can see the floating material, and here you see the plastic content. And we used it as a co-fuel in cement production in a nearby cement plant. This is a paper recycling facility in Vietnam, close to Can Tho in the Mekong Delta, the biggest in Vietnam, and produces around 60,000 tons of plastic waste every year. The plastic comes from laminated plastic in used cups, etc. And as you can see here, is a big concern. And this plastic is usually going to the landfill, and now you know what happens when it goes to landfill. It breaks down and creates microplastic. We were using it in a nearby cement plant, as you can see here, and it contains 45% plastic and a lot of fibers. So it has a very high heat value, of course. Here you see the location of the plant and the cement plant. This is from a recycling village in north of Vietnam, and there are many of these, and you can see the big problems. I mean, they are really contaminated seriously. Everything is, drowning in plastic. And here you see the feeding. We were feeding this plastic to a cement kiln. That was happening only a few weeks ago. And we always do, exit stack gas monitoring by independent parties, etc., to check for dioxins and all other air pollutants, of course, and we check all the other, parameters which is necessary to independent verify. This is from Nagpur here in India, and it shows you how Sigma, it's a company, Indian company, which you will hear more about later, I think, doing landfill mining in Nagpur. And here you see some of the plastic fractions that they deliver to a Adani plant in, And here you see how they are pre-treating and preparing the plastic waste before it's fed and used in the cement kiln. Up to now, this project has conducted 9 pilot demonstrations, and we have several types of large volume non-recycled plastic waste have been tested in 4 countries, China, India, Thailand and Vietnam, and demonstrated that co-processing in local cement kilns are technically feasible and environmentally acceptable, and shown that emissions of all air pollutants, also dioxins, are unaffected by plastic waste feeding. These cement plants will actively prevent a minimum of 100,000 tons of plastic waste to reach the sea, and simultaneously save the same amount or even more of coal. So it's a win-win solution. And it will become more because we are expanding our project to other countries. I also mentioned that cement kilns have very high temperatures, which are actually ensuring the best destruction efficiency also for hazardous chemicals inside the kiln. I mentioned that we have been producing papers, articles, books, etc. And here are some examples, and you can find it on the webpage, of course. And we organized regional forum in Bangkok last year, where we are sharing our findings and hope that things can be replicated. Because accumulated plastic waste is a kind of ticking time bomb. Urgent large-scale treatment of non-recyclable plastic waste is crucial to avert environmental catastrophe, given its uncontrolled spread and the peril it poses to marine life and human health. The engagement of the cement industry has demonstrated its efficacy in markedly increasing local treatment capacity, conserving significant amounts of coal, and mitigating the release of extensive microplastic to the sea. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Carstensen, for your wonderful speech. That brings us to the end of the keynote speech session. And before the next session, Professor Ghosh would like to make some announcements about the sessions.
Thank you. It's not only for the session. I forgot to mention that Jundal Urban Waste Management, Waste to Energy Plant, and they are also here. And as we were discussing regarding the Icon Excellence Award of Co-Processing, so next year our program is to take all the players within the value chain of co-processing, like from waste to co-processing, and co-processing we'll consider in the cement plant as well as in the waste to energy. So I believe that next time we please request to all of you to involve more waste to energy plants in India and other countries. This is number 1. Number 2, the project funding for 5 small recycling process of non-recyclable plastic waste will be given from the International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water. This is the outcome of this conference. So we request all of you who are interested in the project, and this project will be an action research, not theoretical. So please write to us and we will fund a small funding to the projects. 5. Second, we have the publications. One publication which is related to, governed by International Society, that is Journal of Solid Waste Technology and Management. Please send your papers. This is a Scopus Index journal. And I and Masuju, also the associate editor of Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management, that is another journal. So we request all of you to please submit your papers, and that has a good impact factor, around 3.2. Yeah. So the next one, that as I have been telling that our outcome project of this conference is convert plastic waste canal to blue water canal in Vidyavihar, Mumbai. So in that way, whoever are interested to join in that project, please write to us and we will work together with If Somaiya Vidyavihar University is interested, and KJSIM will work with them, and also will work with the Pollution Control Board of Madhya Pradesh. And the last but very important, after this we will take the lunch, and then the technical sessions for next 2 days. So please be careful about the time management. We have 375 presentations in 53 sessions, 7 parallel sessions. So mainly the chair, co-chair and the hall management team, please be careful about, don't allow 15 seconds more than the assigned time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ghosh. And now we have the vote of thanks. The vote of thanks will be delivered by Dr. Satyendra Upadhyay.
Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. Hope you had a great afternoon with a lot of knowledge. As our founder, KJSIM, motto is that, knowledge alone liberates. So today we have seen the knowledge of sustainable waste management and circular economy, which make people aware and educated to solve the issues and also participate in terms of the sustainable development. So I will keep my vote of thanks, try to keep brief because it's already lunch time. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my deepest gratitude for your invaluable presence in the IconSWM-CE, which is Sustainable Waste Management and Circular Economy, and IPLA Global Forum 2023 for this inaugural session. And your participation, all students, faculty and eminent scientists and guests on DAS, has played a pivotal role in making the event's resounding success. The insightful remarks and perspectives you shared during the conference added immense values, contributing to the overarching theme of the sustainable waste management and sustainable economy. And it's a really great honor to have all such eminent guests on the dais. And first of all, thank you to today's chief guest, Consul General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Bart de Jong. Thank you so much for coming in the short notice. It has been always great talking to you, and he always encourages in terms of the to work on these issues like sustainable waste management. And they are doing great job actually with in Mumbai, with the Maharashtra and various part of the state in India. I remember there was initiative in the Indus initiative in 2018 when your Prime Minister came, and it was great initiative to work on this sustainable waste management. And also thank you, Professor Gert. Good to inform you, we have the good number of students from Germany here, almost 25, from DSBW Stuttgart, from our partner institution, Professor Dirk Hartel and team are there. So for them it's also good to see that you have talked about this conference initiative in Germany. Hopefully they will be also participating over there too. And thank you, our own provost, Professor Raghunath Sevgankar sir. Sir, your guidance has always helped us to do this kind of initiative. Always you have been encouraging to bring the researcher and academia and industry together on the forum to discuss about the issues. And thank you, Professor C.R. Mohanty, sir. I have met you last time in the Tirupati. I think there was a lot of learning. That time we were just talking about sustainable development goals, and I think I was pretty impressed by you. And then here in campus we started something on sustainable development goals. Probably you will be seeing some of the things. Thank you so much. Thank you, Misuju Asari, for talking about, and also congratulations for signing the MOUs. and talking about the various initiatives. And also happy to inform you, we do have a collaboration with Japan, with the Shimazu Analytics, so we are just recently signed agreement with them. So we are also working closely with the Japan. And thank you to the Prasad Modak sir. You have been talking about this initiative, your connection with the IPLA. I think that's a really circularity are there in you started, and now you are seeing over here and back to home about that. So thank you, Professor Carson. You have been traveling, but you reached on time, I think, and it was good to see your work. I think it inspired to us, and we will be participating, would we like to participate in this kind of initiative and collaborate to work on that. And not last but not least, also we have Professor Sadhan Ghosh, who has been a pillar of the strength, and you can say the founding member for all this initiative, and he has been very instrumental in terms of the, just you can imagine, like, from first conference on sustainable waste management, circular economy, to bring it to 13 is a long journey. About that is kind of a teenage, the entire age are there. So thank you. I think we should give big hand to him about that. And there a lot of has been talked. I think I will not talk much, otherwise it will take much time about that. But Professor Ghosh, no doubt about that. We are also part of the funded project, British Council, which is the Going Global Industry Academia Partnership grant. We have part of the two project, and one is we have finished, one is currently going on. We have some photo booth over there for the part of the project. Probably you guys also enjoy over there. So thank you, sir, for always encouraging to participate in this kind of task. And also, because this kind of event, it's not complete without the support of our internal and external stakeholders. So I would like to thanks to our team, especially Dr. Lakshmikant Hari, because along with him, the preparation of this conference journey started almost exactly 1 year before in the Tirupati, with the blessing of the Balaji about that. So Lakshmikant Hari has been really instrumental for putting everything together, planning a lot of things was there. Day and night we have worked together with our team, our faculty, Professor Sudarshan, whatever you are saying, like technology, embedded integration, is that credit goes to him, and he's professor of IT, so he could manage pretty well. And also our PR team, Arvind is there. I think you should stand to show your face, because you have been also big support for that. Whatever you see, the integration of the preparation and reflection, credit goes to them. And our student committee, no doubt about their support. Our MBA student, they have been very instrumental. Second year and final year student be part of that. Yami, Prerna, and we have the leadership actually. A system, most of the event is organized by the students. So thank you. And finally, also like to thank our own director, Dr. Raman Ramchandran sir. And because nothing is possible without his guidance, and he has been life actually coach for the leadership. I think somewhat we are trying to learn from sir in terms of the expectation, delivery, and the preparation is concerned. So thank you, sir, for throughout the support about, and he is mentoring to the faculty as well as the student, entire staff. So we are highly energized to work on this kind of events. And also I would like to thank our Chancellor, Sri Samir Somaiya sir, and also Vice Chancellor, Professor V. R. Rajsekharan Pillai sir. They have been very, very supportive, And while I'm sitting over here, I was also updating both of them, like this is happening, and they are very happy and blessed, like all the best for this conference is concerned. And also like to congratulate to all the awardee winner of industry for the best practices on the circular economy and waste management. So thank you for coming all the way to participate in this conference. And also, like the over next 3 days, we have a lot of sessions, so hopefully you guys will enjoy. And there are some response, I got some feedback, like some people are feeling like it is a little long traveling from the registration to over here. So I think this is also part of sustainable development. It's like healthy life. So we should walk a little bit. And rather than if we take a bus, probably we will be burning, we will be participating carbon emission. So reduce carbon emission, let's walk over there and do the little bit uncomfortable. But if anybody has health issue, we will have the golf cart will help on that. So that's, and as in the beginning, Dr. Raman sir mentioned about, we are trying best to not use the plastic bottles, and hopefully all of you have the metallic that bottle, and keep using it, refill, reuse throughout the session. I think this will motivate many other people, and not only over here, I think after the post conferences also we should try to maintain those things about that. And at the end, if I miss anybody to thanks, please excuse me. And so our intention is to thank to each and everyone, our technical guys, those who has been like video photography and still photography, and entire our technical IT team. So thank you so much for making program very smooth and flawless about that. So thank you so much, and thank you all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye. So we have quick announcement.
Thank you, Dr. Satyendra. Before we close with the national anthem, just a quick announcements. We would want you to visit the exhibition stalls which have been set up near the KJSIM Institute of Management canteen. After the national anthem, we are going to proceed for lunch in the Govinda canteen, which is in KJSIM Institute of Management Chanakya building, the ground floor. Then we proceed for presentations in that same building, Chanakya. Post that, there is a musical concert by Alliance France, Mumbai, in the same auditorium where we are, followed by dinner at Gargi Plaza. May I request all of you to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, everybody.
Group photography. Okay. Group photography. Please, everybody in the audience, can you come up? Not there? No, not now. Group photography is later. Okay, okay. Please move ahead for lunch. No more interruptions. Thank you. That brings us to the end of the inaugural program. Please proceed after lunch to your halls, to the sessions where you have paper presentations.